just in the nick of time.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. Okay, here.
It's getting unhinged. It's getting unhinged.
Yeah.
It's getting super unhinged. Did I do the Discord thing?
Bunjo was about to book a ticket to Australia for New Year's.
Oh, mate, he's like, fuck Colombia. I'm going to Australia.
Let's go to Australia.
Is it pure there?
Yeah, what kind of
definitely isn't.
purity are we talking that you Australians get? Oh my god,
It's really bad.
Oh my god,
You want a bit of rat sack in there? Come to Australia.
Oh no, the rat sack's what gives it that kick. Yeah, exactly.
Just takes it up a little bit, you know.
Oh my god. Anyway, if you're just tuning in, off stream, these absolute deviants and I have just had a very funny conversation about narcotics that probably, even though it would be fine to repeat, is probably best left off a family-friendly show. Is this a family-friendly show, Hunk? I don't know. What do you reckon?
I think it's family-friendly. I think it's good, wholesome listening, you know, for the parents and kids.
Yeah.
Learn a lot about life.
I think
certainly
so.
Increase their vernacular.
Oh, definitely. We learn a lot about each other as well. Mate, Hunk, I have to say...
It's a journey.
It is a journey. I hit you up this morning and I wouldn't have begrudged you for saying no. You and I had a very long, fun beer chat yesterday with a few of the guys about the Games Awards that I'm going to throw in this episode because I don't give a shit anymore. And if people want to be like, that's not World of Warcraft, and no one will say it, but they'll all enjoy it. But I figured, fuck it, I'll get Hunk back again because everyone misses him. And I've somehow roped you into another easy chat this morning.
I'm happy to be here. You know, I was lying in bed and I got the call.
Go on.
Hunk signal went up. It's just a picture of a cock and balls in the sky, and so I came
flaccid cock and balls.
Flaccid, yeah. Speaking of cock and balls, I do have a bit of a sore testicle today. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, give it a rub. You'll be all right.
I'm giving it a bit of a lift around as I'm doing it. It seems to help. But
oh, you're doing the happy. You're doing the happy dance.
The happy dance,
shifting the weight from one leg to the other. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm all, but other than that, like, yeah, I'm all good. I'm all good. I'm happy. I'm settled in. I'm leveling engineering in Kata. Mate, when's your Kata podcast?
Oh, yeah, here we go. Right, you got the
Kata update.
The long-awaited Kata podcast.
You're neglecting a whole stream of World of Warcraft in this World of Warcraft podcast. Just saying.
I know, right?
Get your act together.
If anyone's ever wondered what it's like to have a beer with Hunk, you're literally hearing it. He's no different IRL, I can assure you. And riding shotgun along with Buffhead, we've got Marcus. Mate, it is wonderful to have you back.
It's always a pleasure to be here, mate. Taking part in these excellent conversations and hearing about what the Hunk signal looks like.
Oh, it's the best.
You're the Wayne Goss countdown, Marcus.
Oh my God. And joining Hunk and Marcus, we've got Bunzo, mate. It's a pleasure.
How's it going?
Going good, man. Going good. Look, guys, I'm going to keep this one pretty fucking casual. I think I want to turn this into story time. I want to, you know, as I was saying, I got a lot of feedback from the last episode. Everyone going like, "Oh, unhinged Josh is best Josh. Great job, man. You showed those like psychotic sweaty nerds a thing or two by teeing off on them." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm glad I didn't get any negative feedback, and thank you everyone, but I'm not sure if I did show them a thing or two, but at least I got it off my chest." But I said to you in the last episode, you know, fuck it, we'll try and get a little bit more positive on the next one. I unloaded a bit of trauma there, and don't get me wrong, I've got some fucking funny bad stories again today, but I've got some good ones as well, and I thought I figured I'd start off with a good one. All right, gather around for story time, kids. I'm going to regale you with the tale of triumph when 4 individuals stepped into ye old Wailing Caverns and conquered the fucking, you know, frightening creatures within. Are you ready for this one, Hunk?
What's the name of the last boss?
Mutinous in Wailing Caverns. Yeah. And
love that Murloc.
Turned out we devoured Mutinous. Mates, it won't be a long one. It's a quick one, but like about 8 o'clock last night or whatever, 7:30 last night, I was looking for a Wailing Caverns one. I was level 21 on my rogue. As all you guys heard on the last call, I've re-rolled rogue. I'm that guy. Yes, I'm really loving the server now. I genuinely feel at home on the rogue. Get to level 21, go fuck. I've got to do this Wailing Caverns shit before I outlevel the mobs in the dungeon and the quests don't mean as much and all that shit. I've got to get it done now. Don't like doing it at 22. I want to do it at 21. So, not that it's a huge difference, but anyway. I proceed to start looking for a Wailing Caverns run and use our brand new shiny Dungeon Finder tool courtesy of Blizzard Entertainment. And I see a couple of groups and they both have 3 people in the group. So that means there's a DPS slot there for me. And I go, fucking you little... DPS, you little beauty. Here we go. Message to both party leaders. Hello, I am a, fucking sturdy, jacked, level 21 rogue, ready to fucking do damage for you. If you'd like to find out more, please do reply. I mean, obviously I didn't say any of that, but I just said, hey, DPS here, looking for a WC invite if you'd like to have me. Crickets. Absolute fucking crickets. Now, here's the fun part of the story. It's like 3 a.m. server time, right? So you would think that beggars would not be choosers, right, Hunk?
Yeah, there's not a lot going on at that 3 a.m.
There sure ain't. And there was all of about 3 or 4 other individuals listed in this Dungeon Finder as DPS. So, fucking take what you can get.
You approached it wrong, mate. You should have been like, hi, this is Josh Corbett, Countdown to Classic. Look, I'm willing to interview your group to have me come to the dungeon with you.
He's saying I should have dropped the countdown card. I'm usually loath to do so.
Who?
Yeah, exactly. I'm loath to do so because that's usually the response. I go, come on, baby, countdown, it's me, that countdown guy. It's not my opinion, and that is for yours. Yeah, exactly. And they just
bad stock music.
they just deer in the headlights me, and I go, you're not fucking worth it. You don't know.
You don't know.
So these guys ignore me, and I sort of, like I say, I have a slight chuckle because I know it's 3 a.m. server time, and I'm presuming they're in North America, and I'm like, fine, be that way. Didn't abuse them, didn't say anything. I just left it alone. Not that you would abuse them for that. It's in that scenario. And so about 20 minutes later, Guildy and fellow Countdown to Classic / Toxic Boat Party Chad Broxagos messages the guild and goes, hey guys, does anyone want to do Wailing Caverns? And me being the fuckwit that I am, I never read guild chat, I never read whispers, didn't see it until about 10 minutes later, and the poor bloke just had it. You know when you say something to the guild and no one answers and it's just hanging out there like the proverbial hairy sack? Yeah, you feel horrible. Marcus, have you had those moments where you throw out an impassioned plea to the guild, to crickets, when you know there's people online?
Yeah. I mean, it happens to me a lot. I'm not really that big of a cheese in most guilds I'm in.
just this one, mate. You're just a big cheese down at the old Toxic Boat Party factory.
Turns out, yeah. It's good.
You're a big cheese with me, Marcus.
Oh, there you
I
go.
know that, mate.
The biggest.
I think that goes without saying.
Aged cheese, absolutely. Bunzo, how about you? Do you ever throw anything out in guild chat to crickets and feel bad?
Well, you got to be in a guild for that, but yeah, I've been there before, plenty.
Are you flying?
Lone wolf.
Are you flying naked through this one?
Oh yeah, I always fly solo.
There you go. Always. You're flying. You're flying the Josh Corbett flag of fuck you, everyone else. I'll play this MMO on my own.
I just never really have the time to commit.
All right, committed to not committing. I love it.
Well, boy, do we have a guild for you.
Yeah, I know, right? We've got the greatest non-guild of all time that you will fucking love. Mates, so anyway, 10 minutes later, I get back to old Broxagos, and Broxagos and I have played a bit of retail together. We've done some, fucking, when we were babies on our Mythic Plus journey, doing some +4s and +5s together, had a fucking good old time. Broxagos knows how to fucking play. It's all good. Neither of us are fucking gods of gaming, but we're not fucking idiots. We get the job done. And I go, hey, mate, all right, let's do it. Let's do this thing. WC, let's go. Cool. Brox was the party lead. I did the great thing where when you're not party lead, I need to ask you guys, when you're not party lead, how often do you assist in building the group? Because I was a cunt, and I'm sorry, Brox, I basically switched off and go, I couldn't be fucked building this party. Hopefully Brox is all over it.
Yeah, look, I'm never the guy to assist with party building.
I do it sometimes.
Yeah, I just switch off every time.
Hunk, what's your rule of thumb?
Look, I must say I'm a helpful person, right? Like, I like to be involved.
You know,
I like to be engaged.
You like to make people think you're a helpful person.
And that's it. See, I like people to think well of me.
Right.
So I'm a people pleaser.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So you will like do the mild, looking for tank WC.
Yeah,
once in 20 minutes.
I'll kind of like, I'll spam it out there every now and then.
Yeah, you're the...
I'll pay people to come.
Right. Oh, okay. I was going to say, I'm really hoping someone here...
How people play?
I'm really hoping someone here gets this reference when I go like, are you the Johnny Carson's wife from Eddie Murphy's Raw going, here you go, Johnny, here's my $20 and now we have $7,020,020.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. Okay. Very good. Very good. So anyway, Brox actually did brilliantly. Fucking about 6 or 7 minutes later at 3 a.m. server time, somehow he's pulled together 5 people, tank, healer, fucking everything. We're good to go. My spidey sense only slightly tingled when the warrior goes like, classic move as we've all been doing through this fresh server. Kind of like, who's tanking, or am I supposed to be tanking? What's the deal here? And Brox goes, mate, don't worry about it. Just throw a taunt out every now and again and we'll take care of the rest. And thankfully this warrior goes, yeah, no dramas. Beautiful. And I was like, oh my God, we've done it. We've cracked the Da Vinci Code. We're on here. Let's go. All right. We've got a fucking positive tank, a positive DPS warrior who's not shy of fucking, pressing his taunt button every now and again and otherwise DPSing. I love this guy. Let's go. So we head on into Wailing Caverns, and we've got the 21 Rogue, the 22 Warlock, the 21 Hunter, the 19 Warrior Tank, and the 20 Shaman Healer, right?
Yeah, that sounds like it's a solid group.
It's a solid group. You want a bit of variety. You don't want the fucking 3 Warriors. You don't want the 3 Rogues. You've got a bit of everything there, and we go in and we do the do. I'm expanding. I'm making a very simple story very long because I'm trying to take people on a magical journey through the art of storytelling, Hunk, as you can appreciate.
You're doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
I feel like...
If you feel like what?
I feel like I'm like listening to a story crafted by one of the greats. I mean, this is like, this is Tolstoy levels of expression.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm trying to paint this like one of your French girls.
Oh, you mean like scared and trying to figure out how to leave?
Oh no, God, you're a horrible person. You're a fucking horrible man.
I apologize. That was a horrible joke.
Distance myself from any uncouth jokes that this fuckwit makes.
I apologize. I said sorry.
Oh, you said sorry. That's
I'm subverting expectations. It helps with
very
the
good.
story.
Very good. Very good. Very good.
Expectations.
Very good. Okay, so back to this Wailing Caverns run. We start doing the do. No dramas whatsoever. Guild is absolutely hammering the pace, and I'm like, I fucking love this group. Because the healers always got mana. We're somehow not stopping. Like, we were just fucking going for it. Helped that I had the buffs from the dude at Camp Toroho for my +10 strength and +10 agility, and helped that I was 22 with the hit chance, and helped that I had just at level 20 bought myself a blue BOE mace and a blue BOE dagger with all that gold buying I've been doing. No, I'm joking, obviously. It cost me 4 gold 50 in total for, I forget the name of it. There's some nice mace I've got, and I actually forget the name of the dagger as well. I'll have to log on to my rogue now and just double check. But either way, I've got about 55 gold. And I went, you know what? Fuck it. I'm here to have fun. I'm spending 4 gold 50 on 2 blue weapons while dual wielding that'll just make me laugh and smile for the next 7 levels. And I fucking did it. So I was very happy to have those for this Wailing Caverns run. The Diamond Hammer and Black Fang are the weapons I'm talking about. If you're familiar with those guys, they're really not very expensive. Go and check your local auction house if you're a rogue. They're very affordable, particularly Black Fang. Either way. So I'm just fucking pumping. I don't like the word pumping, but I was unironically pumping through this Wailing Caverns. Broxagos is pumping. Everything's going. This warrior is fucking just the bee's knees. He's hitting taunt on virtually on cooldown. And I'm like, this is going to be great. We're going to do this so quickly. Cut to just after Cabran. And do you say Cobran or Cabran? I'm a weirdo. Why didn't I say Cobran?
I say Coke. It's like Cobra.
Cobra.
Right. Cobra on.
And do you do
Cobran.
the dodgeball like snake when you say his name, like Lord Cobran?
I'm going to now, though.
You have to. Yeah. Just like how Ben Stiller does on their entry into the stadium in dodgeball. Yeah. Oh, God, I need to watch dodgeball again. Anyway, I see our shaman friend, and Broxagos has had to go AFK for a minute or two here and there because he's dealing with an unruly child. No one had any dramas with it. He pops me on follow, tries to put the kid back down to sleep, and eventually comes back from that, and we just keep plowing along. No harm, no foul. We're still plugging away really solidly. Then I spot our shaman healer, who I like I said, had been perfectly fine up to that point, just starts running into a wall, and I've gone, oh, here we go. He's gone AFK or he's DC'd, and we've just like basically killed Kresh, and we're heading up that hallway towards the non-Cabran wing, and of course the shaman DCs. And here's the best part. I love that none of us said a word about it, and we just kept fucking plugging away. We kept going. Nobody was like, oh no, what do we do now? Stop, let's find another. Do we give him 2 minutes to see if he reconnects or whatever? Nobody said a fucking word. Until about 3 minutes later, where someone goes, okay, I think that shaman has actually DC'd. And we just go, no worries. And this unspoken thing just went out where we just kept going. No, and like we telepathically connected. And there was no like need to psych anyone up, no need to assuage any fears. We knew we'd been doing really well in this. And again, guys, I'm sorry to I appreciate the comedy of me telling a tale of triumph over a level 21 dungeon. WoW Classic is the easiest MMO out there. I'm sitting here flexing about like, oh, look at us, we 4-manned a fucking, Wailing Caverns run. I know it's a joke. I'm just telling the story nonetheless because it's a bit of fun. So we just charge on because we're fucking chads, right? Where there's no bitching, there's no moaning. We put our heads down and we realize that we, as players, have to now slightly adjust our game if we're going to do 2/3 of this dungeon without a fucking healer. That's cool. No dramas. We do it. The reason I'm telling this story is last week on the podcast, I went off, obviously, on a horrible stretch of bad luck that I had with dungeon groups. I had 3 dungeons in a row with some of the biggest assholes you can find in classic WoW. I was getting in fights with people left, right, and center. A lot of that came from the fact that I was tanking and people don't hold back when they want to criticize tanks. This time I'm DPSing. It's a little bit more chill. But I really felt the need to, I hope I sent this message when I was telling the stories on the last episode. I wasn't trying to get across that everyone in WoW is a prick. Oh, everyone's an asshole. You'll get abused in a dungeon if you play classic WoW. Don't ever play classic WoW. This community is trash, blah, blah, blah. That was not the point of last week's episode. The point was that this stuff can and does happen, and, just be wary of it and call out whatever you need to call out in the moment, but not that it's every dungeon run. Or that it's every party in this server. Because then you get a run like this, which what I'm about to tell you was probably the most fun dungeon run I've had in a very, 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 very long time in Classic WoW. That instantly cancelled out all the negative. It took one really great dungeon run to instantly cancel out all the negativity I had from 4 or 5 horrible ones. So you can guess what I'm going to say next. We did the thing where we go, all right, I literally just said to the guys, hey, on the harder packs, I'm just going to sap. And they go, no worries. So we pressed a little bit deeper. And as we got to the 3 and 4 packs, without losing a step of speed, we were going like 10% slower without a fucking healer. We were still steamrolling. And now it's stealth, sap the fucking humanoid, and let's get it on. And we were doing it. And we were really, really smartly splitting threat. I'm taking a bit of damage. Tank is taking a bit of damage. Everyone's evenly dividing, the threat and the damage. So we were laughing. Bandages are going out. We're eating when we need to. And everyone was just smart. And I could tell within 3 seconds that every single one of these 4 players kind of knew the game. And I was like, sweet, this is fucking awesome. And we just demolished it. We just fucking demolished it. We had like one semi-hairy moment. Nobody died. A couple of moments where like people got low, but like the only part where we had to sit down and talk strategy was like on fucking Verdun, where I just go, hey, this is going to be the only semi-problematic part of this run. I'll just evasion tank it at the start, taunt off me after 10 seconds, and hopefully that will do it. And everyone's like, yeah, fuck it. Let's give it a go. What do we care? We're here now. So we did exactly that. I kick off with the evasion tanking. I lost threat pretty early on, but then got it back. So I had threat for about 7 of the 10 seconds of my evasion. Worked a charm. This legend tank who we got to join the Discord afterwards, who was a fucking Chad, he taunts as soon as my evasion's done. And we kill Verdun with the tank at like 15% health left. Probably would have died on the next hit, but we did it. And we just go like, that's it. We've basically done it. And I think the hunter goes like, oh, I don't know. Do you reckon we'll be able to kill the last boss? And I'm like, mate, if we killed Verdun, we are going to annihilate Mutinous.
I'm impressed you got Verdun with no healer. Like, he smacks.
Mate, we're fucking... We did the thing. We put our brain cells together and looked deep into our souls and toolkits and said, okay, let's just have a 20-second chat about what we're going to do here. And it worked out, and we did it, and we didn't take 10 years. Honestly, the run was as fast as the normal 5-man run. We went pretty fucking quick.
That one brain cell every classic player shares was working overtime in that dungeon.
Oh, I loved it. So, like, at the end of the run, look, Broxigos was like, mate, fucking plug the show, plug the Discord. These guys are legends. And I've gone, yeah, guys, look, you seem like fucking great blokes. Get in here. Here's the Discord. And I tagged the Warrior this morning. I'll see if he's replied to me. No, he's probably still asleep or something. But I tagged the Warrior and said, Brox, DB, if you want to fucking chat about this run, let's get you in here. Brox is hungover as a dog, probably celebrating this dungeon run afterwards. And naturally, and can't talk. And I think DB doesn't work out with the time difference. But that all I'm saying is like, and I'll throw it to you guys now, Hunk and Marcus and Bunzo. I had to tell this story straight off the bat on the show because I'm like, it really did fill me with mirth, Christmas joy. And I said to these guys, and I wasn't joking, my faith in humanity and this game and player base has been almost completely restored by this one positive run. So thank you so much to those people. How do you feel when you hear a story like that, Hunk?
I actually, it's kind of like inspiring to hear it. Like those are the moments you live for in this game. When you get them, I mean, you wish there were more, but they're quite special. The friends you make along the way, right there.
And as yeah, go for it.
Sorry,
no, you go.
I had a similar run actually in Canada. It wasn't actually a hard run, but we were doing halls of elimination in a pug, and you need to do the full clear to get all your what are those little stone things, whatever they're called, Fisher stone fragments. It's a long one. It's a bit of a slug, but everyone was bloody talking and having a good time. Someone linked a Discord, and it wasn't difficult, but it was like one of those moments where you're like, I forgot this existed in an MMO, that you could actually have fun and actually meet new people.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of it. And I'll throw it to Marcus. I mean, as Marcus has said a million times, and I completely co-sign this theory. I've probably said it a few times over the years as well. This game is infinitely more fun when you face adversity or when shit hitteth the faneth. You know, and I sort of am really proud of these guys. And again, guys, huge caveat. As Hunk said, I know it's Wailing Caverns. Please don't write in and go, imagine bragging about a successful 4-man Wailing Caverns. I get it. But the
I
point...
didn't say that.
Yeah, no, you didn't say
you.
that. Yeah. The point remains that I just cast my mind to how many groups would have stopped for 20 minutes to find a fifth, or would have just disbanded and said, well, I guess the run's over, we don't have a healer. And look, don't get me wrong, I've been in that situation many a times where you go, fuck, we lost our healer, let's just go. But it was just so refreshing to find a group that said, fuck that, we can do this, or at least we're going to have fun trying. And Marcus, like, back to the point, like, this game is fun when you're in trouble, like you've said on your mage.
Yeah, it's again, it just reminds me of that Shattered Halls that I did, and with a few mates, and we overpulled just before the last boss, pulled all those crazy guys, and I kited them all the way back to the exit. We all got out alive. It wasn't just because like it was probably easy to wipe; it would have been quicker to wipe, but it was more fun to do it that way. And I think when you like play the game with people like that are keen to just push through that tiniest bit of adversity, that little bit of friction, they're the type of people that you want to continue playing the game with.
Mate, I've pulled him in here, but I don't want him to feel compelled to speak. Brox, I know you're hungover as a dog. Mate, did I do the run justice with the retelling?
Mate, thanks for the invite. I'm not hungover at all. I'm just cleaning the shed at the moment.
Likely excuse.
Listening to the awesomeness of this legendary tale. But no, yeah, you've done a great job telling it, mate. The only thing that I would add to it is, buddy, when we're building the group in the in the early stages, I just had to keep an eye out for those people who really had that sense of what's the word, legendary gamer in their words, and that really is what pulled it together.
Right. It was all your group building and everything. And I'm glad you raised this. Actually, this is the sort of cherry on top of this story, and the reason I talked about the groups that I applied for prior to teaming up with Brox. Couldn't help but notice as we leave Wailing Caverns, I start, as many of us do, of course I've got 10 deviant hides and fucking 5 or 6 serpent blooms. So I go, I'll just finish off these quests like a dickhead. Everyone kind of dispersed. So I was like, I'll just, I'm level 22. I'll smash these elites outside of the entrance to Wailing Caverns and get my last 10 deviant hides and my last 5 serpent bloom. So I'm sitting there for about 20 minutes doing this, just knocking it off. And I spot this druid, and I hot mouse over him, and I remember the name. And remember, this is now probably an hour 45, 2 hours since I first messaged this bloke asking if I could come to his Wailing Caverns run. And I mouse over him and I go, oh, that's that druid that I asked to go to Wailing Caverns with that never replied to me. And I see him like writing in general chat, looking for more Wailing Caverns, like only taking cloth or cloth preferable or whatever it was. And again, remember, it's now like 4 or 5 a.m. server time. We have 4-manned it and completed it within the time that this fucking guy was still trying to look for and build his perfect group. And we joke a lot about the dickheads who will wait an hour, not an hour, but the dickheads who will wait 15 minutes to build their preferable fucking, pumper group over just getting the dungeon started and completing it in the time that it would have taken them to find those people anyway. And mate, I was in tears laughing, going, I don't want to be too harsh, but I'm like, you fucking idiot. If you just got me in there, we would have had 4 people, probably would have gotten the 5th pretty quickly. I would have helped look around and we could have just done the run. But here you are still going because you won't take enough. And now the penny dropped where I was like, he probably didn't reply to me because I'm a rogue. He's a druid and he wanted leggings of the Fang, right? That's why he's saying cloth wearers only. And I'm just in tears going, suck shit, you fucking so-and-so. You know what I mean, Brox?
Oh, absolutely. And if you want these kind of runs like we had last night, it's not about the loot. It's not about the, any of that stuff. It's just about getting in there as fast as possible with some good people and just having fun. None of this fucking around looking for this item, reserve this item, or all that kind of crap. And building a diverse group is going to get you that anyway. So
Yeah.
that's
And
why I recruit.
the diversity saved us. You're handing out Hellstones on Verdun. I'm evasion tanking. The fucking warrior was doing a brilliant job, like kite tanking at times as well. Like it all worked really well. And we had the hunter pet obviously to off tank as well on some packs. Bunzo, let me throw it over you, mate. Just having heard that, obviously phenomenal tale of triumph. Does that fill your heart with warmth and confidence moving forward? Have I managed to do enough to wash away the negativity of last week?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the experiences like that, I've had quite a few myself in Wailing Caverns. That's what makes the leveling process so addictive to me. And that's why I have 3 tunes stuck between level 20 and 40 right now, because I like that experience. I'm not really looking for in-game.
That's the way.
Just never leaves Wailing Caverns. This guy's on level 40 LFM WC.
Well, I mean, maybe that's the true meta. I mean, I've got to say, there's a lot of people around that level, guys. I know that everyone is starting to freak out that they're not 60 because they're seeing raiders go and do their thing. But, this is the point where you kind of decide what you're doing with this server. If you're level 30, 35 and you're getting that FOMO, this is the way. And I'm starting to see it. And I'm not, again, this is not a dooming conversation, but this is the inflection point where people go, am I a dad who has no time for this anymore? Or do I push on because I really want to get there? And it doesn't matter if I get there slowly. I've had a few people from the Countdown community say, I'm 30 and I just can't do this anymore. And that's totally fine. If IRL is kicking your butt and you don't have the hours to put into WoW, no one is going to call you less of a person for fucking, realizing that there are priorities in life. That's fine. But then also, Hunk will call you out. Fair enough. But then on the other side of the coin, like if you want to keep going, and like I said, this is the true, like, looking in the mirror moment about how you feel about vanilla WoW. If you want to keep going, there is no shame in doing it slowly. Like, this, guys, we got this for 15 months. You know what I mean? It's TBC waiting room. Yeah, sure. But we got 15 months or whatever. I just throw that figure out there. You guys know what I mean? Whether it's give or take fucking 13 or 16 months, whatever the fuck it is. We've got
Oh,
exactly. What?
I knew it.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Sorry.
Aliens are among us, Tunk. Fucking just take your time. Don't worry about the FOMO. Go at your own pace. You will find people to play with. You will find people to raid with. Just because we've got guys coming on Countdown talking about the Perdition's Blade and the fucking Corehound Tooth and everything that they got in the first Molten Core run, which is so fun and amazing to hear and all that, don't feel the pressure to get there too quickly that you burn out. Just fucking do what you want to do. This game can and arguably should be enjoyed on a slow drip basis. I don't know. Don't go pedal to the metal. Don't go nuts. Go have fun with the low level stuff and find a tale of triumph of your own. All right, let me bring it back to a funny one where it's funny, Hunk, because of course, as it would go, as soon as I recorded that excessively toxic negative diatribe on last week's episode about all these horrible runs in SM that I had, all the SM runs I had after that were fantastic. I, did the run where I found this phenomenal shaman who was like just the world's greatest healer. He was rank 1, earth shocking, fucking I think Marcus might have been with me. I can't remember. I was on stream, I'm pretty sure, going like, who is this shaman? I'm sure I friends listed him, but like, he was just interrupting everything, always had mana, fucking offense, defense, totems everywhere. I loved it. I was like, this guy's great. He was super positive, just happy to be there. Great runs with a player like that. Then we met fucking Countdown's own, Toxic Boat Party's own, The Wiz. Fucking this mage, Marcus. I mean, you'd just fucking be sitting there with a rager the whole time. Mate, he was just in control. Talk about a bloke that fucking, and I know again, vanilla classes are relatively simple, but then we have to talk about how even though they're simple, a lot of people don't drive them correctly for some reason. This bloke was a master mage, and he was like, you know, fucking Cone of Colding straight away when he had to Cone of Cold. He knew exactly how to fucking do the AoE thing. He knew exactly how to do the single target thing. When shit went south, he fucking CC'd like within a microsecond of frost novering and everything of whatever he had to do. And you would have watched him, Marcus, because it's funny because we've been playing with mages and you were like, I play mage and I know within 3 seconds that this mage does not know what he's doing. And he's probably, you know, not probably, but we joke about, you know, maybe this is going to be one of those gold farming mages that actually doesn't really know how to play the game, but read a guide and is just going to do their best to farm some gold AoE style and do the thing. You know, we've seen those players, and then it's night and day to you, Marcus, as a mage aficionado, when you see someone who, oh no, this guy actually knows how to play mage.
Yeah, they really stand out too. Like there's a massive amount of difference between those two types of players you've described. And like the work that they can do in a run, even just one mage by themselves in a melee group, just stabilizes the whole run. It is so good to have someone that can play the game like that.
Yeah, so fuck, and I should sit here and I haven't really talked about the guild on the show. So let me take a second just to say, while I'm shouting out again, Toxic Boat Party's own The Wiz. If you can get a dungeon with The Wiz, fucking go and do it. Although he's zooming now. I think he's over level 50, so might be ahead of a few of us. Guys, the guild is full of very nice people. If you happen to play on Night Slayer and you are Horde, consider joining up with us. If you the only secret handshake to get in this guild is just be a listener of the show. That's it. You're in. Okay, it's a very simple point of entry. But I've been throwing out the caveat, and I still stress this caveat. We joke about it, but it's not a joke. Where we sort of say we're not a real guild. It's like we're not doing anything. It's a social group as opposed to a content group, if that makes sense. Like it's just nice people that happen to be playing WoW together and whatever. There's not like a boat. We're not a big guild. There's only like 100 toons in this guild, and a lot of those are alts. So there's probably only 50 or 60 people in this guild. So it's relatively small to medium sized. You know, you log on and there's only between 10 to 15 people online at any given time. So it's a tight-knit little group. But like I say it's a non-guild in that we're not organizing. We have no goals. We have no objectives. We're not organizing anything. If you want to raid and you're a diehard raider, this is not the guild for you. I don't even know if we're going to do organized raiding. But I have said, if I wake up in 6 weeks' time and I look at my guild roster and go like, we've got 25 60s. I could probably pull together a combined guild pug SR run on a lazy Friday night and have some beers with everyone. Then I'll fucking do it. And it won't be like a one-off. Like I'll do it on a regular to semi-regular basis. But I'm just saying, if you want locked in hardcore regular raiding, please don't join us and then bitch that we're not doing it. We are a meme guild. We're a non-guild. We're just for countdown people. And some people are okay with that and some people aren't. So join us while leveling and see how you feel. You know, it's just throwing it out there. Hunk's been too cool for the old Toxic Boat Party, Marcus.
Yep.
Fucking outrageous.
Tempted me with
Hunk's
the
been
siren.
playing on his own Australian server. He's not a weirdo who thinks he's too good.
When you
Certainly.
say
True.
when you say your own, you mean it literally. It is your own server.
Literally just me and two of my best friends.
Yeah, well, probably just like only one of your best friends now, because I'm about to guild invite one of the other boys.
Yeah, we've had a couple of the Aussies come over, but I'm going to get in trouble if I start talking. No, if we start talking about it, we're going to get in trouble because we're going to get blamed for being the downfall of the server. It's all going to be Countdown's fault.
To ruin every version of World of Warcraft that's come out since 2009, Josh. So I wouldn't expect you to stop now.
Exactly. But yeah, that's the little plug for the guild. If you want to be in the guild, message my rogue. By the way, guys, like I said, I've changed classes to rogue. This is going to be my new main. I'm pretty locked in. I'm having a lot of fun on this guy. If you want me in the future on this server, if you want to get a hold of me, Whisper or Stream Snipe, Funlocked. Hunk, nothing on this name. Funlocked. You approve, disapprove.
Where'd you come up with that?
Well, there's a thing called a pun. That is when you kind of play on words.
So you went like ChatGPT. Can you give me a
Yeah, so obviously a play on Stunlocked, and it's fun for the rogue when they put someone in Stunlock as well. So I've called it Funlocked, and also there's a slight tinge of a dig at vanilla in the name, where these classes are so limited in what they can do at the 1.12 level. A little bit of Funlocked is kind of a slight jab at vanilla as well.
So you're trying to add layers of nuance to your shitty pun.
I'm Christopher Nolaning this bitch, and we're going layer into layer.
Right, I got it. So you're going to like overlay this bit of the podcast with like some music that goes, bah.
Yeah,
Just to really sell a Christopher Nolan.
When I log in, that's all that plays. It's just that fucking sound. I was thinking the other day, I really need to rewatch Tenet. I'm the one guy in the world that liked Tenet, and I need to rewatch it. I haven't seen it since release. I'm a Nolan stan. Okay. Now look, Slinger, there he is. Slinger's in chat, going fucking, stop talking about my.
Get me in there.
Yeah, my decision to relocate.
My character that can actually invite though, because I've already forgotten his name.
Yeah, if you're online now, you can whisper Hideous John or Funlocked or Bench
Steve,
Queefer or Bench Steve.
I've just figured out what's going on here. This podcast episode is an advert for Toxic Boat Party because you guys don't have enough raiders to fill a molten core.
I mean,
that's what's happening.
Is that wrong? Should I not have done that?
That's what's happening. I knew it.
Okay. Just a quick note, and again, my spite continues. Old fucking dropkick, who we love, Voodoo Beef Queefer over on the Druid there. Level 50 odd now with Beef Queefer up and running, and couldn't help but notice the Dick Puncher and Tank Slut. Again, I'll never stop talking about it. Get reported in the teens. But more importantly, outside of Beef Queefer, I walked, and this is happening multiple times a day now. Running through the Barrens on Funlocked, and I pass like a level 16 priest that's just straight up called Fuckboy. And I'm like, you fucking assholes. I'm starting to convince myself. I have no problem. I would never report that name. I don't care. I'm just in peak. Why can't I have what everyone else is having? Right? I'll have what she's having. Give me a tongue-in-cheek name. I'm now getting more and more convinced about my conspiracy theory that Blizzard's fucking, streamer relations person checks in on the stream, and I wouldn't be shocked if they flag like semi-problematic names from streamers. I don't know.
I really hope that is true.
Oh my god! Rest in peace, Tank Slut. Anyway,
I grouped with a rogue named Ass the other day.
Ass. There you go.
Just like it sounds, and I thought of you
that's
immediately.
That works on a lot of levels, just like Josh's name.
But the amount of fucking names I pass with just FUK fuck in them or cum, like I said, I joked about I saw thick cummer, fuck boy, like all this shit, and I'm like, they'll make it to 60, but my not as fucking harsh ones will get done in the teens. Anyway, I'm done. That's my weekly bitch about the naming thing. I'm going to move on to Marcus. I need to know if this is a thing or if you've met this guy. I'm not well versed with the world of high octane dueling, right? I've never been a dueler, but I'd like to get into it because I'm, now I love PvP, whatever. I'll do a duel. Fuck it. Voodoo kicked my ass in a fucking level 8 duel in Brill the other day as I bitched and cried and moaned the whole way, going, "Mate, what do you mean you're line of sighting me? This is bullshit." Fucking, what's your make, Marcus, on the guy who twinks out as best you can like a level 15 character and lives at Crossroads for the rest of his life, inspecting people who are low geared and dueling them and flexing on them?
It's a bit weird.
Have you met this guy?
I haven't met this particular guy, but I have met guys like him, I guess,
Right.
over the years. But I don't know. I always thought it'd be more funny if you did that in the opposing faction's starting zone. Like, you just twink your character out and then just go and hang out there, and then you have a big fight with everyone who tries to fight you and you just one-shot them with your fiery procs.
Right.
But yeah, like in your own starting areas just seems a little bit weird to me, to be honest. But whatever floats your boat, man. I can't really hold it against people, I guess.
I'll tell you a fun story. And it's like, you know, if I duel you and you win, you win. That's it. GG. Like, great stuff. I'm happy for you. But the story went a little bit deeper than that, where I started to get the shits where... So let's smash cut back to a month ago. 2 weeks before, you know, Fresh has just been announced. A lot of people are excited, and some people jump on Era to, like, you know, muck around and see what they want to play on Fresh. You know, yours truly did that as well. So I'm on like a Warlock in the teens at Crossroad on Era 4 weeks ago. And there's this bloke on a shaman, you know, doing the dueling everything that moves at Crossroads thing. And that's, you're not a bad person for dueling at the Crossroads. Like, everyone does it. It's very common. I get it. That's cool. It's fun. Let's do it. So the shaman duels me, and we duel, and he fucking flogs me. And, you know, earth shocking. I can dot and not much else against a shaman, all that shit. You know, he's doing the line of sight thing, run into the hut, run into the inn at not Razor Hill, at Crossroads, and, you know, wait out cooldowns and things like that. He was waiting out his own cooldowns. Like, he would kind of like hit me, earth shock, run around the corner, wait a few seconds, come back, earth shock. And I'm like, okay. And so he beats me and he tells me, you know, 1-0. And I'm like, yeah, okay, so let's go again. And he beat me like 3 or 4 more times. And every time it's 1-0, 2-0, 3-0. And after 3-0, I was like, hey, bro, like, you don't need to update the score every time. Like, I get it. You're winning. Like, let's sit on the flex with the scorecard. And he says, then you can imagine what he said after that. Lol. Shut up, fuckwit. You just fucking loser. You fucking get wrecked, cunt. All that shit. I'm like, all right.
Is that exactly what he said?
Well,
are you
of words of that nature, right? Like, I'm not giving you verbatim what he said.
It's a dickhead thing to say.
Yeah. So, I mean, who would have guessed that he was, you know, a bit of an arrogant dick thing, you know, dick cunt fucking, you know, doing this thing at the Crossroads. Anyway, that's besides the point. GG's, he won. I totally got my ass flogged, except that all good, GG's, but it was the conversation and the arrogance that followed that rubbed me the wrong way. So anyway, he said a few things that I, you know, stuck with me. Smash cut to, oh, well, actually, sorry, I correct myself. I went, fuck this guy. Like, this is Shaman v Warlock. I feel like it's very slated in his favor. I'm going to log on over to my Hunter and duel this guy on Era. So again, I had a same level Hunter, like a level 16 Hunter or whatever. He's like a level 16 Shaman or something. I jump on my Hunter. He doesn't know it's me. And I, you know, challenge him to a duel. And I start beating him on the Hunter. And what do you think I did in reply, Hunk?
I can't guess.
Okay, well, it involved me starting to return serve with some 1-0s, 2-0s, right?
Ooh.
I mean, it's the play, isn't it?
Oh, it is the play, yeah.
Marcus, you would have done that. You're a petty man like me.
Yeah, I certainly at least would have let him know that like I was the guy that he beat up before.
Right. Well, I didn't let him know that. I had hoped that the subtle reply with the scorecard would have tipped the hat, right?
It's better to not let him know, I reckon.
So we go 1-0, 2-0, and then guess what happens next? all of a sudden he doesn't
don't have to
he,
keep
he,
score.
he doesn't want to duel anymore, right? And he's fucking out. He's done because he's found a class that he can't flog and all that shit. Blah blah blah. I go, okay, all right. And these weren't like, I wasn't destroying him. Like, these were relatively close matchups, but he wanted to stop after a couple, and I was like, yeah, okay, I've got your measure. I see what kind of a bloke you are. And that's that, right? Smash cut to a month later. Now we're on the fresh server. And I'm dicking around at Crossroads on my rogue. And I get I'm sitting there for a little while at the inn, and just outside the inn, and I get a duel challenge. And I go, oh, okay, people are dueling. What's going on? Oh, it's a warrior. All right. I'm not sure how this is going to work out well for me. Level 15 rogue. No, nothing. You know what I mean? I really have nothing at 15 as a rogue. And so I go with this warrior. And he is like, there's nothing wrong with this because, like, I had engineering as well. I just didn't have any grenades on me or anything. But, like, he's doing all the thing. He's grenading. And I couldn't help but notice, it must be a common thing, obviously, if you want to win at the Crossroads. He's line of sighting me around he's running into the inn, trying to reset combat, obviously, and then getting the charge around the corner or whatever once he's dropped combat for 6 seconds.
Hmm.
And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, isn't it 6 seconds? Marcus?
It used to be 8 seconds. It was 6.
I always thought it was 6, but I mean, there's very little difference between 6 and 8, right? I mean, 2 seconds, I suppose, but
either way, no dramas.
Doesn't feel much difference.
No dramas. He didn't do anything like, he can't do anything shady. He's a gamer. He's doing what it takes to win, and he does the thing, and he fucking flogs me. GG's, all that shit. But I just
6 seconds, you're right.
I really wasn't ready for like someone going like pedal to the metal, and I was like, oh, this guy's like he's a dueler, like he's really going for it. Okay, we're grenading, we're line of sighting. I thought we were just going to dick around a little bit, but all right, let's do this. So I re-challenge him a second time because now you know what I mean, Marcus, when you kind of there is a difference between dicking around and dueling and sort of switching on and going, oh, we're actually doing this.
Yeah, there is.
So I go for the second fight, and it's much, much closer, and he just beats me. It wasn't like super duper close, but I did much better the second time around. And I'm like, okay, I'm kind of learning this guy's like shtick. And he beat me by a lot last time. He beat me by a little this time. I reckon third time will be my charm. I think I've got this bloke's measure now. So I go, mate, can we go one more? And he goes, yeah, no worries. But he layers right in front of me. And I go, oh,
shit.
It looks like you've just been layered. That sucks. And he goes, oh, yeah, shit. Why did that happen? Oh, and I'm like, well, that's all right, mate.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. And I've gone, that's all right, mate. I'll invite you to group and we'll get you on my layer. And do you mind if we do a third round? And he goes, oh, I can't do that. I'm on a flight now to fucking RFC. I'm going to go destroy an RFC. And I'm like, I don't know. I've just been watching you duel people, like, and you were happy to go a few rounds with me, and now you're out of here.
It's sus.
And he said a couple of words, and he played very and I know there's like a strat and everything, but he played in such a way that was really reminiscent of that shaman the previous month on Era. And the bigger key was he said some words in chat that, when someone talks a certain way that's not uncommon, but is still like it stands out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He spoke in such a way, and I got this a lot in. This is a prosecuting old prosecuting thing as well, where you really listen to people's language and you kind of work out, people have tells. You know what I mean? And I was like, hang on. Mate, he started calling me a few names because he got really aggressive and started calling me names. When I was like, oh, mate, why'd you go to RSC? I thought we were going to go again. I didn't say anything bad to him. I just said like, oh, why'd you leave? Like, I thought we had a thing. We were going to do the third round. And he's like, fucking blah, 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 blah. And just says shit that like takes my mind back. And I go, hang on. Were you that fucking shaman on Era here living for Jules in Crossroads about a month ago? He said it wasn't. I
Fucking bastard.
am convinced it was. And I'm like,
Oh, for sure, you got it.
nothing. If this is this bloke's fun, you know, dueling at Crossroads for the rest of his life, you pay your $20, you do what you want to do. I think it's funny. I just think it's funny. Like the like, I'm gonna live at this low level area and twink out my tunes and go hammer and tongs on and he he's inspecting people and going, I can beat that guy, fighting classes that he can destroy. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm happy for you that you're happy, but I'm still gonna call that odd.
Yeah, it's
It's
certainly
super
weird, and I feel like it probably was him because like how many people do that? Like there can't be that many, right?
Yeah. I don't know. It's so fun. Like, you know, but it's not like dueling is uncommon at Crossroads. But like, mate, I fought many a duel at Crossroads. And like I said, 95% of those fights go straight into the clearly people just dicking around category, right?
Yeah.
And this guy was like, you felt the lift in intensity and how hard he was going for it. And I'm like, oh, okay. And like I said, it was the language that tipped the hat. Like I knew it was, I'm pretty sure it was this same bloke. But anyway, that was just a fun, weird story. That's again, like, you know, there's a million different people playing this game for a million different reasons. Everyone has a different drive and objective. It's just, I don't know. It's just a story,
interesting.
I guess. Yeah.
Do you think it's someone
mean-
who just like they've got an obsession with it's kind of winning, maybe?
Well, yeah, it's how far you'll go for your E-peen and
Yeah.
what the level 15 dueling E-peen means to you as a person.
That's,
I didn't
that's
even
quite-
know there was an E-peen in that category, to be fair, but here we are.
Here we are.
I mean,
Is
he
this-
should just go and stand at like the bridge into Westfall and just hope that people start on him, like Alliance players start on him. That would be way more fun and like way more epic because like he'd get 2v1s and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Like if you really want to stretch that level 15 PvP-ness out,
Yeah.
probably go and do that.
He got real aggressive when I asked him if he was that shaman on Era. And I promise you, I did not ask in an impolite way. It was a very, very normal, friendly question. Did you happen to be playing a shaman here at Crossroads a month ago on Era? And he fucking lost it. And I was just like, oh, I fucking got you.
It reminds
I've
me
got you.
of the Simpsons.
Folks, we got him.
Yeah, it reminds me of like old Poochie. I have to go now. My planet needs me when he layers across.
It was so weird. It was like a very convenient time to layer when I said, like, can we go round 3? I don't know. Anyway, but like, he had no reason to layer.
His ego died on his way back to Orgrimmar or something like that. He's just fucking shattered him, bro.
He'd handily won. He'd won 2 in a row against me. He had no reason not to go again. But anyway. Oh, and sorry, I actually left out. Sorry, I left out the biggest part of the story. Because guess what he said after the second win? 2-0.
Well, he did. Yeah, mate. That's
he
it.
said
That's the
that.
tell.
Yeah.
That's the tell.
People
one says that.
generally, well, this is actually an open question. I don't know. Generally, I've found people don't do that. The scorekeeping. I might be wrong. Do you find that they do?
I used to duel a lot. In the original versions, like TBC in particular, no one ever kept score. People got toxic, called each other names, but no one kept score ever.
Yeah. So
Like, not like that.
that was what made me ask him if he was the shaman. As soon as he wrote 2-0 and a couple of the words he was using, I was like, I'm pretty confident this is the same bloke. But anyway, let's move on. That story's done. Marcus, while I've got you here, again, we've had a bit of fun. We've told some positive stories. Maybe I'd call that last one a neutral story. I don't know. But I don't want to get too negative here on the show, but I just want to have this very, very quick conversation. And it's probably an hour-long conversation that will condense down into 10 minutes. But, we had an interesting chat on the Countdown Discord with a few of the guys. I feel very strongly about this topic. I'm going to try and hold back my own toxicity on it. But I want to talk real quick about gold buying. And Marcus, you and I have talked a little bit about this over the last 10 days, not about buying gold, but about the fact that gold buying is obviously going to be taking place already on this young server.
Yeah.
We saw some items being priced. I said straight away after the first few days, I think I potted and said, I've already seen some prices that seem to me to, I'm kind of clued on to how the gold buying industry operates now when a fresh server launches. And, there is a lot of price baiting where, relatively medium to high ticket items are priced quite clearly outside of the reach of 99.9% of players, and they're when you start to see the Edgemasters handguards on day 12 of the server, 5 of them on the market for 5,000 gold each, like it's creating demand. It is making you feel that FOMO and the fact that you'll never be able to get there unless you buy gold. We got into it a little bit with a few of the guys because this is the common rebuttal to this point, Marcus, is no, you guys are the fools. You don't understand. You can theoretically have that much gold. If you are a player who is a mage who has done 40 hours in ZF, you would have 5,000 gold. And I know a mage doesn't need Edgemasters, but you know what I'm saying. Because the numbers dictate that it is theoretically possible to have this gold, the end point is this is not gold buying or gold buyers. It's possible. I've always pushed back to that, where I'm like, I get what you're saying, and neither side can prove either way that these people are engaging in gold buying or that they're not engaging in gold buying. But we're having to deal with the balance of probabilities here. What does the propensity of evidence go towards? And I always just do the thing where people try to tell me that, WoW players are weirdos. Of course they won't sleep for a week. They'll make 10,000 gold, spend it all on one item, and that's just what they do. I've always slightly pushed back to that in a weird way, where I'm like, I don't doubt that player exists. I'm just saying that they're rare. And what is more than likely happening is that, like, I don't really like to believe that a bunch of players outside of the one or two, a whole bunch of players, let's say by day 12, they've taken 5 days of play time to level, right? Of 12 real life days, 5 of those 12 days gone to leveling. So now you're operating with 7 days, and you have to factor sleep in, right? So let's say they've not slept very much. Let's say we're up to like day 7 or 8 of the 12. Okay, we've got 4 or 5 days of game time here to operate in. They're also going to be farming their prebiz, and they're also going to be farming gold. Within, let's say 80 hours of gameplay they've got to work around. And the guys say, well, 40 of those 80 hours they've spent farming gold. Cool, great. And they've got 5,000 gold from that. Cool, great, because they're just not stopped. Fucking 50 gold an hour, go. Okay, cool, whatever. 50 gold an hour turns into that much. They then happily go. So they then go and happily spend all of their money, all of it, 100% of their income that they just flogged themselves for on one item. And it's like, Josh, you don't understand how important Edgemasters handguards are. You would sell your fucking soul for that early on, and then you can make money after. Yes, I understand that. I just don't believe many players are doing that. And we sort of get told that because 1 or 2 did that, that means that everyone else is a result of the suspicion of gold buying. I don't subscribe to that theory because I think it's abnormal, odd gameplay. It does happen, but it's abnormal. Marcus, I'm trying to set you up here. Do you hear what I'm saying? Am I making sense, or is everything I've just said bullshit?
I think the more that you describe that theory of a person willing to spend their entire income from leveling on one item, the more cooked it sounds. Like it is such a straw man argument, and can be easily torched because like kind of goes against like human psychology, really. Like people aren't just going to dump it. Like most people are just not going to do it. Again, it's hard to prove. I've got some ideas on how to prove some of the theories because, like my theory is that it stands to reason that bot farms are kind of getting more of these items because of just their time of exposure to the drops, and then they're price fixing, and then they're either selling them in chat for less gold or just straight cash. But I got a bit of work to do on proving that theory yet, so that'll remain a theory. But yeah, like people aren't dumping 5k. They might get them for 2k, but even that amount of money is exorbitant. Like 2 weeks in to a fresh server, it's ridiculous, and 99.9% of players are just not going to have it. And I reckon probably another 90% of the players that do have it are not going to spend it on one item.
Bunzo, let me get you in the mix here, and then we'll go to Hunk. Just the point that I raised with the multiple edge masters being listed on the auction house. On like I put a screenshot in the Discord when we were talking about a week ago, where I was like, have a look at this. Because I think it was fair, Marcus. You used the example of, what was that staff that you mentioned was 300 gold that you were suspicious of? Staff of Jordan, right?
Yeah.
I was with the guys that like, oh, look, if someone has 300G and spends 300G on Staff of Jordan on day 12 of the server, I don't think that's, anywhere near as suspicious. I was definitely staring at, but your point was more valid a few days earlier. Like if it's day 7 of the server and you're buying a Staff of Jordan for 300 gold, yes, my eyebrow hath been raised, right? Round about day 12, whatever, when we were talking, I took the screenshot and sent it to the boys, and I said, all right, look, forget Staff of Jordan now at this point. Let's talk about Edge Masters. Because here's 4 or 5 Edge Masters on the auction house right now for 5,000 gold, and it's day 12 of this server. And they conceded that, yes, that looks like much more suspicious. Bunzo, how do you feel about this when you see items like that priced so exorbitantly so early in a server's life cycle?
Well, I think epics just in general have a funny way of making things a little skewed on the auction house, but Edge Masters in particular, you've got what, rogues, warriors, basically all your melee classes are after those, right? Maybe some rogues stick with daggers, but
I think,
they're
male. They're male, aren't they? I don't think rogues can use them.
Well, there you go. But I would definitely say that
Or
yes,
they
it's very.
They might be
skewed,
played. I can't remember, by the way.
Oh yeah, they might be played. I'm not a big in-game classic fan, but I do know about the Edge Masters as far as like how wanted they are, particularly by warriors, and just it's definitely fishy that things are that heavily priced so early on, and we're seeing all kinds of posts about people completely decked out in BOE gear. So I think it just all stands to reason. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Well, here's a great counterpoint from Go. And Go's an arsehole because he always raises reasonable counterpoints, and he throws a spanner in my fucking works all the time. I love you, Go. How are you, mate? Marcus and Hunk, get this up you. He goes, well, what about for Edge Masters in particular? I can see them selling for really expensive early on because top-end guilds will come together to buy them for their main tank or top DPS. It's just one example of how those people buying expensive things, it doesn't necessarily mean that someone bought them on their own. You can be suspicious that they didn't have the money themselves as an individual, but also we can't necessarily rule out perfectly above board group play coming into the equation. Do you know what he means, Marcus and Hunk?
And I track what he's saying, and it makes a lot of sense. To be fair, again, to reiterate, he's an asshole. He's made a good point here, a good counterpoint. but like that's probably going to account for how many sets, like maybe 5 sets. A guild is going to have to set out with that in mind. When they start, and we're like going to have to be pooling gold and all that kind of stuff to get one dude his Edge Masters, which can happen, but it'll only account for a few sets.
There you go. Hunk, anything on this?
It's interesting. Like, I blame the problems with the economy and like gold buying specifically on like Blizzard. Not so much the player base. I think the player base responds to the conditions that have been created. And seeing fresh now, I would think that there is probably more gold buying happening in fresh than there has been in actual classic, because people now know that like things like Edge Masters are only going to go up dramatically over the course of the expansion, this season. So they're better off buying gold now and trying to buy them now than they are waiting a couple of months and hoping they come down. I think just people have more knowledge about it and they know that it's a better investment now than later. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was a lot of gold buying to buy things like that. Certainly guilds probably might, like pool their resources. I don't think that's likely. I think that'd be very rare from everything I've observed of really top end guilds. They often have kind of an attitude of they expect people to do things like that. They'll play together, but they expect people to be rich, to do things themselves, to get their own Edge Masters, to get their own like Titanic leggings and all that type of stuff. Expansion Titanic leggings? I think so. Lionheart helms, stuff like that. They expect you to do things, on your own. They'll play with you, but they're not, there's not a lot of like giving you resources, because everybody wants the resources, if that makes sense. So I don't know if that's too realistic. It might happen, but I think it's fairly rare. I think the majority of Edge Masters that people have, they've either found themselves, gotten off a friend who found them, or they probably bought gold to buy them off the auction house when they're like 4K or whatever they are at the moment. You couldn't have 4K gold. There's some good gold farms. Some mages and hunters can make that sort of gold already.
Oh, would the hunters be making it already? I mean, they've got to sell to other, but they need a crowd buying. The tribute runs. I guess there are 60s out there. I get that. I just wonder if there's enough of a deluge of 60s to really make that much sense off of tribute runs.
Diamond Grad, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's close.
Oh yeah, Diamond's not even out. It's not even out yet.
Yeah. So it's Maraudon's the main farm.
Oh shit!
That's
yeah.
about a 60 gold clear.
I completely forgot Diamond's not even out yet. Yeah.
Yeah. So hunters don't have their good farm yet, but Maraudon itself is about a 60 gold clear, and you can sell the ring at the moment from Princess. But I mean, that's a lot of hours. I'm saying it's possible. There are people who play enough to do that. Mages definitely, but for the most part, I would 100% say that they've either found them, gotten them off someone they know, who's not, like Josh, if you're playing a warrior and I had Edge Masters drop, I'd give you Edge Masters, because that's what you do with your friends. You don't care about gold.
Oh, I wouldn't accept it though. I would insist that you sell it for the gold.
Oh, I'd just make you pay for my consumes for the next 2 years of raiding. No, but other than that, like I think like people who they're bought off, they're going to be buying gold to afford the prices at the moment. I don't really buy the whole guilds pooling gold thing. It's not what I've observed in high-end guilds.
Yeah, I was going to say it works in theory, but how many of them are actually doing that? And I know, again, one person listening to the show will be like, my guild did it. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine, but that's literally one example out of how many fucking guilds.
Exactly, yeah.
But anyway, let me tell a couple of quick stories, and then if you guys have any stories, please do let them fly, and I'll let you guys go because I don't want to podcast forever or keep you going this morning. 2 quick stories for me, fun ones. Well, negative ones, but fun ones. So one small part of the reason why I changed to Rogue, I had heard about the Warlock. If you get camped, it is problematic because obviously you can't get your demon out. If you're getting corpse camps, it's very hard to get away, particularly in the lower levels. If you're out of soul shards, you're up shit creek, all this shit. I got legitimately corpse camped I think for the first time ever a few days ago. And I've been corpse camped before, but I say the term legitimately corpse camped because I feel like this was a little bit different. When I talk about corpse camping, I mean, and you know, we've all done this to people before as well. Fucking
Well, no, we haven't. Not
Come
a lot.
on, Hunk. Come on,
It's-
Hunk.
somewhere in the
There would have been
range
time.
of like, I don't know, 2 to 3 to 4 kills over 5 minutes, move on, they've learnt their lesson, right? That's what I term as corpse camping. And I've always found it weird when people always bring out the examples of mate, and I really think that the vast majority of people are being grossly hyperbolic or exaggerating immensely when they tell these stories about like, mate, I was corpse camped for an hour the other day by someone. And I'm always like, no, you weren't. No, you fucking weren't, you liar. You logged off after 20 minutes because you realized you were being corpse camped and you played an alt or you went off and did something else. Don't tell me this fucking lie of you, like an idiot, rezzing every 2 minutes for an hour and not having any success. Like, people don't do that. I don't know. I've been very skeptical of the I was corpse camped for 18 hours the other day stories. But I was corpse camped for more than 5 minutes the other day, which has never happened before to me in WoW. People move on after 2, 3, 4 kills, 5, 6 minutes in, you're done. These guys stuck around for a good, like, again, not an absurd amount of time, but this was a good 15 odd minutes, which is not that long in the grand scheme of things. But like, they killed me about 7 times because obviously you get the 2-minute res timer. They killed me about 7 times in 15 minutes, and they were not going anywhere. They set up a perimeter around me. It was 2 warriors. They set up a perimeter around me to make sure that I couldn't get far without one of them spotting me. And they started recruiting other people walking by to help them pin me down. So I was regularly sitting there as a ghost with 2 randoms and these 2 warriors, 4 people in total, with the perimeter fence around me. And I'm just like, I mean, I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to try to get away a few times, and then I'll just log off if they don't stop. So the funniest part about this story was, well, Josh, what did you do? My God, what did you do to have these people corpse camping you? You must have done something horrific. What was the great crime, Josh? My crime was I spotted these. Okay, here's how I actually started. I'm going to wetlands as a warlock to get my fucking thing that you need, 3 rods that you need to get your fell hunter, right, off the orc mobs. And I'm going into wetlands, and of course you're coming south from Arathi, and on my right in front of me, outside of the elite dwarves where they are in the northern part of wetlands, I spot a party, obviously going to do the elite quests. And I've gone, I'll hang back, let this party go into the area, and I'll just, not let them just mow me down. This party wouldn't move from the choke point. And I'm like, I don't want to sit here for 10 minutes waiting to see if this fucking party's going to move or not. And they started pulling dwarves into this area, like outside of where you're supposed to fight them, at where the quest givers are, out, at the choke point. And they pulled about 2 dwarves, and I thought, look, I've been waiting for 90 seconds. Maybe I can just run by these guys on the flank, and for whatever reason, they're not going to be those guys that just, fucking gangbang me. Of course, I was wrong. I make a break down the right-hand side. 2 warriors and a mage of the group of 5 on me immediately, blow me the fuck up. Emotes everywhere. Ha ha ha. We're such kings. We got you, Mr. Solo Warlock. Fine, whatever. I res, I get away. Actually, no, that's not true. I try to go back and dick around with them twice, right? I targeted the mage, and I went back and tried to blow up a couple of their pools by fucking with the mage. He mowed me down and caught me with frostbolts, and they killed me 2 more times. Okay, whatever, I've had my fun. I go to the orcs to do my quest. About 10 minutes later, I've been getting my ass kicked. And I went on this huge rant at the Discord because I can't believe that they have Horde go to this spot in Alliance territory where like there are Alliance players everywhere doing that quest, that they do around the orc mobs. I was just getting destroyed. Okay, fine, whatever. This sucks. It's incredibly frustrating. But eventually, I pop back down onto the road after a res. and I spot, oh, there's two of those dickheads from that group that gangbanged me, two of the warriors. I absolutely remember.
Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, 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 with Merry Christmas. I absolutely remember those names. And even better, Hunk, what a Christmas gift. One of them is on follow to the other one, right?
Oh, ho, ho.
So I'm licking my lips and go, all right, look, at the very least, this is a one-on-one. And I go like, normally what I would do is I would target the AFK player, burn them down right, and then go for the bloke who's actually at his PC. That's just a dicking around kind of thing. But I thought, I'm going to mix it up. It might be the better strat to actually focus the guy that's at his computer. That clearly seems like it would be the better strat. Get the jump on the bloke that's actually playing. Then if you happen to kill him, you can kill his AFK mate, right?
Yeah.
So I commenced to do exactly that. And I open on the player that's, the truck and not the trailer. And it's a one-on-one. And about 6 seconds into the fight, he's obviously yelled at his mate, fuck, come back to the keyboard. There's a warlock here fighting us. His mate clearly comes back, starts controlling his character, and these two warriors 2v1 me down. And I'm like, oh, well, whatever. Had a bit of fun, gave it a shot.
That's right.
I get back to my body, and these blokes are sitting right there. And I go, okay, I see how it is. So I res, I dot, I fear, I do my best to get away, but they do mow me down a second time. And I go, oh, okay, that sucks. I res and they're still there. And I go, oh, are we actually doing the corpse camping thing? And for the next 15 minutes, these two warriors sat on me like hawks. And like I said, got multiple randos to join them sitting on me. And I took screenshots and sent it to the Discord and was like, there were screenshots of 5 Alliance players waiting for me to res. And I'm like, I went on this huge rant about a year and a half ago or 2 years ago on the pod where I'm like, this again, I'm the weirdo who sets my own parameters and rules. I have very strict rules for when I decide to corpse camp someone. And like I say, I only do it for about 3 kills and then you move on. They've got it. They've had it. My parameters are like, if you are going to decide to sit down on someone's corpse and kill them, multiple times, you better have a pretty fucking good reason. Like they need to have really done something to you, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And I just didn't feel like I had, my crime was I tried to fight someone in PvP, right? That was it. Just I walked up to a guy and tried to 1v1 him and he took exception to that. And I've always gone off on these fucking losers that do the move where it's, no, you don't touch me on this server. So that's the rule. You now get corpse camped because you dared to try to fight me, right? I fucking hate these players. They're the worst people in the world. And as I was bitching and moaning in the Discord, I felt bad because I did not want this to happen. And one of the guys in the Discord, look, I love you to death. I love the listeners to death. I'm not bad mouthing this guy for doing what he did, but he was like, tell me the names of the warriors. And I was like, no, I'm not going to give you their names. I don't want anything going down from this, right? But I didn't realize that in one of the screenshots, like I wasn't deleting names from the screenshots. I don't do that often now. People go, brigading, but like whatever. I'm just telling fun stories about PvP. The name of one of the warriors was in one of the screenshots I sent. So one of the listeners of the show who was hanging out in the Discord messages the warrior. And I presume he said something along the line. No. Like he didn't do anything bad, I don't think. But I presume he said something along the lines of like, hey, like, out of interest, why are you camping this warlock? And he sent back a screenshot of this guy's reply saying, and like his reasons were, he tried to fight us while we were questing. And the listener, God bless him, because this is what I would have said, in all caps replies to him, sir, you're on a PvP server. And like it's true. It's just like this guy was, and he goes, he shouldn't have tried to fight us while we were questing, and my mate was away from his keyboard. And I'm just like, again, this is going to be the catchphrase of this server. Who the fuck are these people? Who are you?
They did it to you earlier.
It's so bizarre. It's so bizarre. Yeah, I know. Marcus, what do you reckon of that story?
Mate, yeah, the bar's pretty low for their reason to corpse camp people. However, the countdown convention is not enforced on a PvP server.
No,
so,
no, no, no,
I mean,
it's
these
not.
things are gonna.
Yeah, and don't get me
these things are gonna
wrong.
happen.
Don't get me wrong, listeners. I'm not sitting here saying people should abide by my fucking rule set. I'm not. Please don't. I'm going to get all the hate mail. Josh, you fucking snowflake. No one's going to do that. You rolled on a PvP server. Imagine thinking people would play with honor and rules. You're a fucking idiot. Go to PvE, loser, blah, 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 blah. I'm not begrudging these guys. I rolled on a PvP server being very aware that this exact situation could happen. And I'm okay with being corpse camped. I'm less okay with the reasoning that was attached to it, but I can't expect reasonable reasoning from everyone on this server.
Certainly not. But yeah, like that's a pretty low bar that they've set there, and it's a bit wild
Very
that
low bar.
I don't know. They kind of feel like they need to camp someone that bad, call people into it. Like, what an operation though! Like, just to pin one warlock down, they've got other dudes in forming perimeters. Like, this is a real hate crime, isn't it? Like, they were so dirty.
It was.
They actually like what they've done here.
Well, I was going to say, it was the calling the other people in. It was the calling the other people in that really, like, what did you have to say to these randos to get them to sit on me for a few minutes for you? Like, I really am like...
paid them gold.
No.
They're like, hey, I'll give you 100 gold if you just camp this guy for 10 minutes.
I will suck your dick if you help me kill this guy. Oh, fucking deal.
Right down to the balls.
Yeah, fucking swallow the gravy, fucking cradle the balls, all that shit. Anyway. I'll tell you,
rest your gooch while I'm doing it. I'll do it.
While I'm telling stories, this is just again ending stories with a bit of encounters with weirdos in the wild. Here's a bit of a more fun one, and a bit more
like you're the weirdo.
I'm 100% the weirdo. Again, it is fair, and I feel like people are too nice to me because it's Josh, it's his show. Let's not say anything bad about him. No, please do go nuts. I am completely aware. And I said this in the fucking Scarlet Monastery episode. Guess what the common denominator is in all of these fucking stories I tell? It's me. I'm the fuckwit. I'm very aware of that. I just like telling the stories. So here's one for you real quick. I'm in Barrens, and again, this comes down to a longer argument about fucking, when to quest and when not to quest. And I yelled at people for wanting to party up with me for a quest in the Barrens when I was in the wrong, and they were just after a named mob, and I was being the fuckwit as per usual, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, this time was a bit different. I was doing the skulls that you need in the South Barrens from Knack and Locke and all those guys. And, it's a bit quiet. And these named mobs, as we discussed earlier on the show, do take a long time to spawn on this server. This server is having real issues with quests and named mobs. It's, 2 o'clock in the morning server time, whatever, and I'm sitting on Knack. And I'm a fucking... I think this was on my Warlock. Yes, it was on my Warlock. And... I'm sitting, we all know the spawn, if you got Questy, the spawn point for Knack. I'm sitting right on that spot. There's a few stealth mobs around there. You clear them out. I'm sitting there waiting for Knack. 2 players are floating around me. What do you do instantly? Invite. Hey guys, you after Knack? Nah, not really. We got him already. And it was the not really that I go like, what the fuck does that mean, not really? Okay, they go, we got him already. All right, no dramas. So I sit there and wait for the spawn. Couldn't help but notice these 2 fucking jerks are just sitting there as well for the next 90 seconds. And I'm like, just being weirdos. Not killing anything, not doing a fucking thing. Doing the exact thing that someone waiting for this quest mob would do, which is sit right on this fucking spot.
The spawn.
Yep. And there's only 2 of them. And it's like 2 o'clock in the morning server time. And I'm just looking at them. And I've already very politely asked if they need this mob. They declined my invite. And I'm like, okay. I start spamming the living fuck out of my wand, right? I am very aware that the odds are not in my favor here, right? Number one, I'm on a warlock with no instant ability. So I like my 1.5 speed wand is my best chance, right? I also play with 222 ping. So like I'm up shit creek here, but I'm like spamming hell for leather. I didn't do the target macro. I'm like, I could do it, but I'm not going to be that sweaty. Like, not that that's sweaty, but you know what I mean. I'm just going to go hell for leather here. And I'm just sitting there going like, I've seen this movie before. This is not my first rodeo in WoW Classic. I know exactly what these fucking weirdos are about to do. So Knack spawns, and against all odds, the fucking hero of the story gets the tag, right? A warlock with 222
Here it
ping,
comes.
and one of them was a fucking mage, right? It was a mage and a hunter. Yeah, with Fire Blast. So your fucking boy with your 1.5 wand with 222 ping gets his wand off before this mage Fire Blasts this thing, right? And the hunter gets his...
And what happens next?
Yeah, you tell me what the next part of this script is, Hunk.
I'm thinking, and this is just a guess, the invite pops up.
Sir, you would be very correct. About
The fucking nerve.
About fucking 2 GCDs in, straight into the invite, pops up. So and so would like you invite you to their group. I've never hit decline so fucking quickly in my life.
Legend.
Fuck
100%.
you fucking weirdos. And this is like where I say, guys, there's a lot of great people that play this game. We've told a lot of fun, positive stories about great runs and great players and all that shit. I tell the negative stories because we can't forget that there's some fucking weird nerds out there too that need their fucking, dicks kicked in every now and again. And
100%.
I didn't do the move where I didn't say anything to them, but I did emote goodbye to them as I walked away with that kill.
That is That's a satisfying story.
I fucking hate weird WoW nerds.
There's so many of them.
God, it felt good. It really was a win for the little guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
win
that was
for the
that was a
solo.
big one.
The solo warlock with the wand and the 220 millisecond ping. What are they doing?
Yep, that's like
Shit players.
it's one of those situations where like Hunk refers to this a bit for PvP, but I think it happens like in other social interactions in the game. There's a lot of punching down in this game, and those guys are clearly trying to punch down. And what they got was a punch up square to the nads. Got 'em good.
It's to what end? This is just players, and I know that these players exist. Fuck, we know some of them. Players that play just to dick with other people.
They have fun by making other people not have fun or making them angry. I don't get the attitude. It's like, to me, it's like, I'm not going to call them sociopaths because it is a game, but like, it's really like what's going on in their own lives that like, that's how they have to take out, like, find some kind of power or control of their own life. Like, what's happening with these people? What's wrong with them? They're not hugged enough as children.
I'll make a cheeky confession here.
Here we
all
go.
right.
Here we go.
And
Marcus.
Marcus,
No.
It's just between us, right? Surely there's no one else listening.
Surely, just between us. Okay, boys, keep this quiet.
Keep this quiet.
Safe space.
I have been known on occasion to be that guy that Josh spoke about. Usually I win.
Oh, Marcus.
Sometimes I lose. However, I wish to speak to the motivating factor.
All right, here we go.
For me,
Give us a window into the psyche of the serial killer.
it's boredom. I'm standing there, I'm bored. Some dude shows up and he's like, invite or whatever. And I'm like, nah, I think annoying this guy slightly will just break my boredom a little bit and give me a little giggle that I need to keep going. It's unfortunate that it happens sometimes, but you know, it is for me. It's just boredom, really. That's all it is.
Mate, you're an asshole, but you know what? You're our asshole.
And you're honest about it, mate. You're honest.
You slingers on board with you because he's the exact same kind of prick.
Yeah, I've found a few kindred spirits through the old countdown. It's been pretty good.
They're out
Pretty
there.
good.
Like we're not all fucking, soapbox derby winners like dickhead Josh Corbett. There's a few, fun, feisty cunts out there in the community as well.
Yeah. It's just that, like, when you show up, and most of the time I feel like it probably would be boredom. And, like, you show up and you see them bored and they do that cooked thing to you, and then, like, it goes for anyone. Everyone just writes them off as, like, the absolute worst person in the world, which I find to be fascinating, but, yeah.
Very good. All right. Well, look, I mean, those are my stories. I mean, out of interest, not that you guys, need to fucking have all the pressure to produce something, but do you have any fun or interesting or tragic tales from the last week in game?
Not me, other than I just got ganked just before by a level 25.
Give me a
hunter,
name. Give me a
but
name. Give the god of death a name.
I don't even remember his name. I'm just like, oh, this guy's going to fight me. And then I'm like, I'll just sheep him and run away. That'll be funny.
I
And
don't.
his pet pushed back my sheep too much.
I'm not a pussy. I don't set limits. You don't cap at 3 names for me like Game of Thrones. You can give me as many names as you fucking want.
Yeah, no, I don't remember his name, but he got me good. I probably had it coming though. That's the main takeaway there.
You
I
definitely,
certainly had that one coming, I reckon.
you definitely had it coming. Hunk, how about you? Well, you know what? If you've got a PoE tale of triumph, I'll let you extend it cross game.
We'll go to other games. Look, my only triumph from gaming, and it doesn't involve other people, is if anyone plays Factorio Space Age, they'll know that my spaceship has successfully made it to Aquilo.
Well done,
It's a
mate.
big deal. It's a big deal.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Time to,
Congrats.
It's a big deal.
time to just build another factory there, I guess, because the
Yeah,
factory
yeah.
must grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly.
Patricia is literally in the next room playing Factorio as we speak. I said to her last night, I said, you know what, honey? And I was saying it, tongue in cheek, but still, I think it actually is apt. I said, you're the best Factorio player I know. But then I said
That's true.
I said that knowing, and she knows, and I know that you play as well, Hunk. And she was like, yeah, but she's like, I fucking smoke Hunk.
Yeah, she's way better than I am.
She was
There's no
talking,
denying it.
she was talking smack and everything.
Like last week, I sent her a screenshot of Factorio on Friday
Yeah.
when I was playing,
Right.
and she was like, "You know what? You've convinced me. I'm leaving work
Whoa,
early."
whoa, 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 whoa. Are you sending my wife photos of your factory?
What? We can be friends? Are you kidding me?
What the
We can
fuck?
share factory pictures. What do you mean,
Brother, talk about fucking crossing lines.
mate? Your wife has needs, and that's Factorio.
Oh.
All right.
Oh my God. Bunzo, save me. Any tales of triumph from you, Bunzo?
Kind of like a tale of redemption. The same area you were having trouble. Washtapani, the rare spawn. Dragon Hawk.
Yeah, another one. Yep. Yeah, how do you? Is it?
Spawn-
I say watchy porny as well. I don't even know if that's the way you say it. That's what I say.
Washed up porno.
Oh, come on now. Anyways, he spawns a hunter's already, killing him. I throw him an invite, and he declines, and he kills it, and I'm like, wow, thanks. I go around, kill the rest of the quest mobs. It spawns. I tag it, and in the middle of killing it, I get an invite from 2 other guys running up, and I immediately accept and think, wow, what a turn of events that I could just, have a bad experience and save these people from the same shit.
So you're the hero this
Yeah,
time.
you're the hero.
Yeah, I'm the Corbett soapbox derby champion in this tale. All right.
I love it. I love it.
I love it.
It's funny hearing you say washed up porno hunk just reminded me of a funny, I'll go out on a fun note here to wind up this podcast. reminded me of a funny story from my past IRL to give people a little bit more of a window into my soul and you know, the man behind the microphone. 5 years ago, Patricia and I had been together for a year, and we had to, you know, famously, you guys have heard through the show that we move a lot. And we this was the first time that Patricia and I had to move of the, you know, fucking 16 times that we've done it over the last 5 years. And at this place we were moving from, it was an apartment, and our next door neighbors that we shared a wall with were a group of like rather loud uni students. And like, that's fine. You know, I was a fucking uni student as well once, and I know what it's like. You drink, you have fun on the weekends, you make a bit of noise up until fucking 1 o'clock in the morning, whatever. It wasn't like horrible, but like we noticed it, and it was like a very, very mild annoyance sometimes. But either way, they lightly gave us the shits, but were mostly harmless. When we were packing up all our boxes to move, I'm that guy, and Hunk, I'm guessing you're this guy too. Well, I was that guy. So I mean, at the time, I was, you know, all of 36 years old, and I found in the move as we were packing shit up, like 1 or 2 of my old VHS pornos, right? And yeah, you know, I know it was fucking 2018. Why would you have a VHS? I hadn't used the thing in fucking 13 years, but it was just something for whatever reason I'd hung on to and buried away and forgotten about in the house, right? And it was a copy of, you know, as Marcus would appreciate, and other porn fucking scumbag aficionados, you know, Jenna Jameson's masterpiece Flashpoint from 1998, I believe. A classic.
Ooh.
Classic of the genre. You know, firefighters worldwide.
A true work of art.
Yeah, firefighters worldwide applaud this work of art to this day. So either way, I find this, that it, you know, VHSs, they're huge boxes, if you guys remember. This huge, very shiny plastic porno, a VHS box. And I pull it out and I laugh and I show it to Patricia and I'm like, oh my God, look what I found. And she's like, oh my God, you fucking weirdo. What are you doing with that? And I'm like, I don't know. Obviously, we don't have a VHS player, so obviously I haven't fucking used it in a long time. It's obviously just something from my lonely university days that I haven't thrown out. and I was like, what do we do with it? Like, do I just throw this in the bin? Do I put it in recycling? Like, what do you actually do with this thing? And I think Patricia, I can't remember if Patricia came up with the idea or me, and it's such a non-thing, but she was like, we eventually came to the group decision that we're like, let's just leave it as a gift for the fucking dickhead neighbors. And so we've moved all of our shit out. Now, last act as we closed and locked the door was just throwing this VHS porno under the gate of our neighbors right at their front door, so that they would have just walked out one day and just found this fucking copy of Flashpoint right
Weird.
there. It's so weird. It's so weird. I don't know why we did it. We just thought it was really funny. And I don't know. I hope they had a wonderful time.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I hope they had a wonderful time with that copy of that VHS.
Why is it paused right here? You can't see anything.
Why is the tape worn out? Oh my God.
Oh,
So here you go. Yeah, that's a window into my soul, Marcus.
Fucking got him, mate.
So-
That would have had him perplexed. They wouldn't have understood the technology. It would have been hitting it on rocks and stuff, trying to figure it out. How do I make this thing work? It would have been great. It would have been great.
I got a good one for you
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
same vein.
Okay,
So when I was a young strapping lad
here we go.
in school, back in the 90s,
Right. What grade? What grade are we talking here?
this would have been grade, I want to say, I think it was grade 10.
All right.
So I was 14 to 15 then. So back then, who was the big thing in the 90s? It was Pamela Anderson back then.
Yeah,
She-
yeah, of course.
There was a kid in my grade who you would rent boys a copy of the movie Snapdragon,
Right.
which is where, you know, Pamela Anderson is essentially a serial killer who gets her kid off and murders people while she's, you know, getting down with them.
Okay, as you do. Oh, so it's like
So
it's knockoff Basic Instinct.
Basically, yeah. Basically, it was Pamela Anderson Basic Instinct, yeah. So yeah, this kid was renting this movie out. He was charging $10, and this is a night, and this is back in like the mid-90s, which is very expensive for a kid back then.
Yeah.
And making an absolute killing. I've got to give credit for the
And that
entrepreneurial
young
spirit.
boy went on to be Cargoz.
That young boy, I'm not going to say his name. I still remember him quite clearly. He actually got expelled from the school for smoking the hooter behind the music block.
Ah.
See you later.
Well, wait, back to the porno. So this young entrepreneur, he's charging $10 a view. Where is he showing the tape again?
Not pornography.
Oh no, wait.
It's just a
sorry.
movie,
He's
an R-rated movie.
renting the movie on like a nightly basis to the other boy.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's his own.
The other boy.
He's his own video store
He's
with
Video Easy.
with one title
With
in
one
his
movie.
library. Right.
It's Video Easy with one movie, exactly.
Right. Very good.
One dirty, sordid Pamela Anderson movie.
Right. And were there late fees?
I believe that there was some kind of there was some standover tactics involved. I don't know if there were late fees.
Were kneecaps being broken? I mean
mean-
what's the system here?
I mean, it's $10 a night. Come on, I can't afford that.
$10 a night in 1998 dollary dues. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of cheddar.
Yeah. Fuck me. What a
You know what I'm
fucking
saying.
what a legend. There he goes.
I know, right?
And people were doing
So there
it.
you go.
Yeah.
People were paying it.
Well, there you
Yeah,
go.
the queue.
There's hope yet. Maybe that's Blizzard's next microtransaction. You rent
Snapdragon.
Snapdragon from the WoW launcher.
Yeah, it's just direct in the WoW launcher.
I mean, why not?
Video, like artifacts and all, VCR artifacts and all.
Why not? Sign me up, Blizzard. I mean, fuck. I've just
I'll
given
take
you your next WoW token. We've just solved the
It's a
fucking
$1 million
mission.
idea.
100%.
I mean, you know, and besides, like, I mean, we all know that I invented transmog.
Yeah.
That's a well-documented
Of
fact.
course. Blizzard, have your people call our people and probably Pamela Anderson's people, and we'll work on something.
And our people, Marcus, do you want to be our people?
Sure, mate.
Okay, Marcus
sounds
is
like
our
a perfect
people.
job
Call
for me.
Marcus.
Not to drag this too far down the gutter, but there are few moments in my life where I vividly remember where I was when it happened. You know, the obvious ones stand out, but one of the odder ones was I'll never forget where I was when I first foresaw Pam and Tommy Lee's sex tape.
Oh, yeah. Who can forget that?
Yeah, I think a boy became a man that day. Oh dear, that poor boat got quite the workout. But anyway.
What if I say Mimi McPherson to you?
Oh yes, none of the non-Australians will have any idea what you're talking about. But I loved the thing I loved about the Mimi McPherson sex tape was how like underground it was, but not underground because everyone was joking about it.
Yeah, it was funny, wasn't it? It was in like referenced in like main media,
Yeah.
like and things. Like it was, I think it was one of like, I'm sure that there was instances before that, but I was very young, obviously. But I had an aunt who showed it to me.
What?
It was everywhere. An
You-
aunt showed it to me.
Do we need to like get a fucking lawyer involved? What? Your
I
aunt
was
sat you
very
down
young.
and showed you.
Way too young.
Your aunt sat you down and showed you Mimi McPherson's sex tape.
She thought it'd be funny. She was showing me and a cousin of mine who would have been about 13.
Oh my god! I'm afraid to ask any
No.
more questions.
I would have been about 9 or 10.
The
Oh boy.
fuck! Oh,
There's a lot going on
all
there.
right, we legally have to end this podcast right now.
And that's what's wrong with me today.
Oh no! Oh, we're gonna get you some help. Gee, we shouldn't joke. But anyway, Hunk, it's been a pleasure. I hope you're okay. Thank you so much for taking part today.
Oh, no, thank you, Josh. Thank you very much. Shout out to Wayne Goss, my favourite Queensland Premier.
Oh,
I'll see you soon.
I was going to say I braced for impact when you said earlier in the podcast, I blame all of the inflation and economy things going wrong with World of Warcraft on, and I was like, he's gonna say Wayne Goss. He's gonna say
Wayne
Wayne
Goss.
Goss. And you didn't, and you zigged when I thought you would zag. But anyway, I feel so bad. We shouldn't be laughing about that shit with you, because obviously, if you swap genders there, it's very much so not a laughing matter, which is very fucking what's the word I'm looking for?
Sexist?
Yeah, not sexist, but something else.
Toxic masculinity?
No, not hypocritical. What's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, you know what I mean.
I don't know what you mean.
I don't know what I mean anymore. Guys, Marcus, Hunk's deeply troubled childhood aside, thank you so much for coming on the show.
No worries, man. Pleasure to be here. It's always good to co-star with Hunk. It's a big highlight for me, that one.
It is. He's
No starring. We've got other stars here.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. We got Bunzo carrying you two clowns. Bunzo, thank you so much.
Pleasure as always, and like Hunk said, I just wanted to sit here and increase my vernacular.
There you go. There you go. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later, and stick around on Discord. I'll
It's a very cromulent word.
I'll end here's what I'll do. I'll end the recording, but I won't end the stream or anything else. So goodbye, podcast listeners.